How do we add fields to a schedule? Every object that you place in a model has properties. Schedules allow you to pull those properties into a table format. The example I want to use is door schedules. So in this model, we have no schedules. I'm going to go to the View ribbon. I'm going to select Schedules, and I'm going to select Schedule and Quantities, or Quality Quantities. So I've already filtered out display only the architecture fields or categories of objects, and I'm going to go down the list and select doors. So that's only going to give me all of the available properties of doors. So I'm going to click OK. So we get a list in this dialog box on the left-hand side of all the possible fields that we can add to our view, to our schedule, and we would select them, such as tag, type mark. It's confusing sometimes what type mark means versus type, so I'm going to put them both in so we can see what the difference is. And I'm going to basically simplify this a fair bit. I am going to select width and height. So scroll down to width and scroll up to height. So let's take a look at this. So I'm going to click OK. Chugging away. And so there is the, this is the different columns or fields. So you can see that type mark would be the tag, and the type is basically a description of how the family of the doors are identified or named. Then you see the width and you see the height as a column. Now what I want to do is I want to select from type mark So I'm going to go to the View ribbon. I'm going to select Schedules and Schedule/Quantities. I've already filtered out so that only the architecture-based objects or families are identified, and doors. And here's the name of the scheduler, but create. And of course, I want to make sure everything is uppercase. And I'm going to click OK. Now this dialog box is asking us to select the fields we want to see in our schedule. That would be the columns. So I'm going to go through, and I'm going to just select some. And so first of all, I'm going to pick mark. I'm going to select width. And I'm going to select height. And of course, there are many more things that would need to be incorporated into a door schedule, and I want to keep this very, very simple. Fire rating, I'll throw in that. And let me pick another one. I don't know, let's pick level. That meaning which floor or level are the doors placed. So if I click OK, we can get a sense of what this schedule is going to look like. So you can see here the mark is what the door tag mark shows. Then we have the width and the height, fire rating, and what level these doors are on. Having level is really good listed there because you can filter out so that only level 1 doors are visible in this schedule, and then have a second schedule for level 2 and another one for level 3. But right now we're just going to leave it as it is. And as a matter of fact, because we can edit out our fields that are a part of the schedule, I can go back in properties and select fields, and I can just get rid or remove that particular field. But there are 3 fields or parameters we want to include in this schedule, and it revolves around the door. Okay, there are 3 things. We want to identify what type of a door it is, what kind of material the door is, and what kind of finish the door has. So it's type, material, and finish. Now, when you go and look at the list of fields that we have to choose from, you will see frame material. You'll see finish. You'll see frame type. You're going to see all these different predefined properties of these doors. I find it's best sometimes to just simply create specific fields just for what we want and name them in a fashion that's very, very straightforward. So when you want to create a new field, then what you can do is pick this button, New Parameter, and this is going to be a project parameter, so it's going to be a part of this project. And the first one I want to do is door type. I want to name it in a fashion that is very straightforward. Now, on the right-hand side here, you're going to see an option to select either type or instance. This is a very important one because if you select instance, that means you have the ability to create multiple doors and have different door types assigned to it, even if it's the exact same family. Whereas if you pick type, it means if I have 13 doors in my model and I use the same family, if I were to change the door type, it'll affect all of them. Okay, so that's not what I want. Discipline is the category under which this particular parameter is going to be saved, if you will, or categorized. You see a lot of different category disciplines here, but we're using common. And then what is the information in the parameter going to be? And the default here is text, but it could be many, many other things depending on whether or not, what the information is. So I'm going to click OK. And now you can see that it is listed here. Let's do another one. Door material. All right. So again, we want this to be instance-based. The discipline will be common. The parameter is going to be text. Okay. And I'm going to leave everything else as it is and click OK. And one last one, which is going to be finish. So I'm going to call this door finish. Common. Type of parameter is going to be text again, and make sure it says instance, and click OK. And I can click OK. So see, there are 3 new columns in our schedule, I should say. Going back to our floor plan view, if I were to zoom in on one door, such as this one, you can see under properties we now have these 3 parameters listed, so we can fill in values here. So the door type, material, and finish will probably relate to a legend that will identify what abbreviations represent. So let's say I identify this as, I don't know, aluminum, AL. click apply. If I go to the door schedule, you can see right here, aluminum AL for this door. So you can modify those properties or those parameters or fields in the plan view, door by door by door, or you can go into the schedule and make modifications through the display of the schedule. Now it's a good idea here to make sure that all the headers are uppercase. So I'm just going to change those. So, and you'll notice also that the marks, which are the door numbers, they are in order, almost. So there are some other doors in this project, and that's why we see a sort of a misnumbering like so. What you'll want to do is, if you click on the column itself, the header, it kind of looks like a spreadsheet, right? And then what you can do is you can, under the properties, you can say, I want, under sorting and grouping, I want to sort based on mark. And then it says ascending. If I click OK, see? Now they're in order. If I were to go to in properties formatting, I could then change what the field names are. Door type, material, finish. I'm eventually going to probably remove the word door. But I can also say with mark, I want it to be centered. And I can do that for all of the other columns.